and this is completely non-technology related. It's such a simple thing, but I've seen it again and again and again and again and again, right? Putting it down on paper, visualizing it, whatever the case may be, it allows you to kind of step back a little bit from it. So you can see it in its totality, so to speak, and you can see, oh, hold on, there's a gap there, right? Or there's something that I need there. Or step one doesn't necessarily lead to step two, or step four is creating a block for step five, or whatever it is, right? So again, that very simple process before you go near technology, right, is a very, very worthwhile process. Sinead, for you, choosing before you get to the technology, you want to choose the right one, the right fit for the particular problem. What's your kind of process? What's your approach to doing that? How do you help clients to get there?
Yeah. So I roll with a framework that is quite simply named the root cause framework. Okay. So once they kind of help me identify the symptoms, we then go on the exploration journey. And usually what I find is it falls into one of four buckets. Okay. So, the issue is usually based around audience. Like we were saying, customer segmentation hasn't been done or properly considered. And look, ultimately, like tech won't fix bad targeting. Okay. So that's one point. The other one is a messaging issue. So I've met so many incredible business owners who have like amazing businesses or business ideas, but they're not communicating what's in their head or what their specializations are, right? And we understand that too. Sometimes you're so close to your business and you don't really fully understand what your value is, to your potential customers or clients. So the messaging can be a huge issue. And like that USP, identifying that USP as well. And I think at the end of the day, when people are using AI content to help with that messaging and they don't fully understand how to speak about themselves or their USP properly, I think it just makes everything more confusing. I think it can, generates, generic copy, website copy, social media captions that just don't say anything and it's all bluster. Then the other area where it potentially lies, and we see this a lot, specifically with newer businesses, but is process, right? So as
Okay.
Dennis was speaking about, workflow is crucial to the success of many businesses. And a lot of the time we have very manual blockers in the way, or we do things because that's how we've always done them, right? So fixing the workflow on paper or implementing a CRM, which an alarming amount of businesses don't do or haven't tried or haven't, dedicated the necessary time to try and make the CRM a fundamental part of their business. Thus, everything is on 17 spreadsheets. And then ultimately as well, a skill or a time issue. Like I said at the beginning, the team or the person just simply does not have the capacity or the knowledge and training they need. So by helping people understand that their issue lies in one or more of these areas is a really, really important step before we even talk about AI and tools and what that can offer. Because ultimately, look, you're working with people. So, and I feel like that's a people centered approach, in my opinion.
Okay. And something that, because I definitely feel, and I don't know if you agree or disagree on this, Dennis, but I definitely feel where AI can offer a tremendous amount of value, and particularly for the SME business, is around process and processes. So to Sinead's point, a typical SME has a lot of manual time or labor intensive process, and they work. It's not that they don't necessarily not work, but they just take up a huge amount of time. This is one of the areas where I feel AI can bring a tremendous amount of value. Now, again, I go back to the earlier point. The process has to be working in the first instance. Yes, it's taking a lot of time. It's a manual process, but whatever the output is, it's at least doing that and doing that well. So that needs to be, I suppose, the starting point. But provided that is the starting point, then I think AI has huge potential here. But again, I'd ask you to maybe speak to that.
Yeah, exactly. So once you do have it mapped out, then there's a million different things that you can do, and there's other kind of non-technological benefits. So if you think of a single SME owner and they run the whole business, if you have to go on holidays, if you get sick, usually things start to fall apart nearly after day one. But having processes, and you start with one, keep it simple. But if you were to over time systematically create these different processes, it also makes it easier to start potentially thinking of bringing on staff and other things that can start offloading some of that. So if you think of the non-tech benefit, that's a person that can now, let's say, be responsible for this one process you mapped out, and you just have to look over it at the end. And AI
Yeah,
works very similarly.
yeah,
Yeah, AI works in the exact same way. So you're not handing it over maybe to a person, but you might be handing over either that whole process or a part of that process to an AI or some sort of an automation platform. And that's where the benefit comes in. But you can now have employees and AI working with you. So suddenly you're not kind of the bottleneck because you have to look after everything in the business. It's easy to lose time. And if there's inefficiencies in the processes, there's lots of time that could be spent in a better way. So the process, everything has to start with that. But once you have it, there's all sorts of things that you can do.
yeah. And I think I go back to Ailish's analogy on the first podcast when she talked about, thinking or treating AI like an intern, right? I actually think the same analogy can be used beautifully when it comes to processes. So you've mentioned it there, right? If you have a good process and you need an employee or you need someone else to do it, it's relatively easy to explain, to train, to get them to carry out that process, right? If you've a bad process or it's a much more difficult, and invariably you just have to do it yourself because you can't give it to someone else. It's the same rules practically apply when it comes to the AI. So in other words, if you couldn't explain the process to an employee or an intern, right, and they couldn't pick it up, relatively quickly, I would suggest don't go to the AI. You need to be at that point, albeit it can be manual and take a lot of time before you kind of get in AI involved with that process. But again, I suppose ask you for your opinion there.
No, that's exactly it. So yeah, you really need to have that at least in that one process, because you need to only start with one process, have that completely defined, and make it easy to understand. And while you're writing that process, you might find, like you said, inefficiencies from earlier that you might actually start to implement yourself, that you're working on it. But that's when AI can come into that process. And the main thing around that is, because there's so many tools floating around, it's hard to decide what's actually going to be useful in this scenario. So I have a process now, but where do I start with what AI is going to help us with? So what I'm going to talk about briefly is using ChatGPT to help you come up with suggestions for those tools.
Yeah. And again, that's one of the beautiful things about AI. You can think you have the process at a stage where you can involve the AI, but a sensible approach there is to actually take the process to an AI, and it could be ChatGPT, it could be whatever, and get the AI's feedback.
Yeah, yeah.
One thing that AIs are pretty good at, I would say, is looking at things from the point of view of an AI, right? The AI is invariably going to see things that maybe you yourself wouldn't see. So that will allow you, I suppose, to improve or refine the process. So it's more AI ready. Okay, folks.